Welcome back to another episode of the Resellers Mindset Podcast. My name is Mike, also known as the Used Book Guy on YouTube, along with my friend and fellow full-time reseller, Johnny B. We help people start and grow their reselling businesses from the ground up. We also have a weekly Zoom call and private Discord for all YouTube members. Head on over to youtube.com/usedbookguy to join the channel and gain access to the full-length podcast, Zoom call, and private Discord today. Let's get into this week's episode.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Resellers Mindset Podcast. Like Nick said, Johnny, today's topic is a fun one, especially as we are getting into 2026. And for some reason, I don't know what it is. Like at the beginning of the year, Johnny, everybody wants to try all these different things. It's like, how many different things can I do to change my life? I'm like, what about the other 11 months of the year? Like the hell with those months. But we're going to talk about juggling too many things that I think as entrepreneurs and resellers, I think we try to juggle too many business models. And we've talked about this before, kind of staying focused. But even if it isn't business related, I think a lot of us are overwhelmed with all of our daily tasks and we get sucked down rabbit holes, man. I'm guilty of this. If you look at my YouTube feed, like it's not even reselling content. It's like other business content, right? It's like a Turo car rental business, a laundromat business, a vending machine business. Like YouTube's got me figured out to this guy's a sucker for new business models, and I would love to just
There's a
try them
dollar to
all.
be made. It's got Mike's name on it.
Dude, thankfully I have Deb who's like, don't you even think about it. I'm like, all right, I just back off immediately because if she wasn't around, dude, I probably have like one broken down vending machine, some 2002 Honda I'm
There's no
renting
one to
on
turn on
Turo.
your computer for you.
Dude, it's crazy to really think about. And in reselling, man, like we talk about having multiple streams of income just to kind of, I guess, keep yourself what would it be? Guilty proof, right? Of getting banned or sent to jail on one of these
Yeah.
platforms. But it is a balancing act.
No, absolutely. I mean, and it doesn't help that we've kind of been groomed since I don't know, UCAP comprehension that January is the month of newness and everything needs to be new. We got resolutions, right? And then 2 weeks later, it's been proven people fall right off that ladder, like 80% of them, 70% of them. And it's the same deal in reselling. We start these projects, and either we A, never finish them, or B, that project fails miserably. Or what we were doing is stops working because we put all our attention on the new shiny thing. I'm very much guilty of this as well. That's why I only like to do like one, two max new things a year, and then everything else stays the same. Or I do my slight tweaking of this is what it needs to be, accommodating the rules for the following year because platform presented said rules to me. So yeah, you gotta adjust on the rules. But yeah, I think people sometimes think they're doing something wrong or they could be something better when boring is a-okay. Stay boring, please.
Nah, dude, it's hard. I mean, people start these crazy ideas or businesses because they see somebody else doing it and they see the potential and maybe they see some of the flashiness of it. Uh, and nobody wants to be the used book guy who's just been scanning shit for the past 5 years in the same set of stores, right? Like I probably could do the drawings for every thrift store, like the actual architecture of the 150 different sources I have around me that I go to. And it is lame, dude. Like the excitement I get is listening to the Dave Ramsey podcast on the way there and the way back. I just go in and I just scan. So I see why people, they want something more. I think that's why live selling even exists, right? Like it's exciting,
Yeah.
it's live, right? Like that's why people like shopping live. That's why people like selling live. It's like the allure of oh, look at all these new people coming in and buying my things. And then if you're buying, you're like, oh, look at all these people bidding on this item. Oh, I want this item. It's like I can see why it's so popular, but it's a deep dark hole because if I stop going to my thrift stores, Johnny, the bank account starts going down, and we cannot settle for the bank account going down. So you got to be like, well, do I want to have this other business? Like, is it something feasible to me? And if I do, is my main income making business going to lose ground? That is the hard juggling act because a lot of people start these new things and they forget about what's basically gotten them to that point to be able to try something new. And then all of a sudden, the new thing doesn't work out, and you've neglected your main business for the past 3 months, and now you're really screwed.
What's up, Amazon sellers? We wanted to take a second to talk about GoToLister, the software me and Johnny both use to list and manage our inventory and grow our businesses. With the fastest listing speeds out there and built-in profit analytics, it's a no-brainer. Easily and quickly have items available for sale using 2D barcodes and get more for your items with its built-in smart pricing. Make sure to check out the 30-day free trial at gotolister.com/Mike or using the link in the description below.
But Mike, you and Johnny said to diversify. Yes, we did. But you need to do it carefully. And where your other businesses that you already got working do not stop working. And that's the key point. Or should be the key takeaway. Yes, it's okay to try new things, but don't let the other things that you got going for you just die. And how you balance that, well, you got to figure that out, but it has to do with scheduling. Scheduling is very important. You can assign X amount of hours, and budgeting, you can assign X amount of dollars. These are probably the two key aspects to being able to do both of those. Now, as far as your time goes with scheduling, if you got enough in the bank and you need extra time for this other thing that's sort of working, maybe you bring in somebody to help you in your either new business or your current working business.
Yeah, I think also I'll call BS on a lot of people out there that say they don't have time, because you do have time. You're just choosing not to spend it on the business you want to have. And it takes sacrifice. We talked about it before, like in the beginning, especially if you have a full-time job or a full-time obligation and you're trying to grow something on the side, no shit, it's going to take staying up late at night or getting up early, or like, I did it forever. Like still don't know why Deb, dealt with me going to thrift stores on my 2 days off working at CVS, like there has to be sacrifice for this. So the idea that, oh, well, I don't have the time, well, that's BS. And like Johnny said, you have to be you have to have a tactical approach to this, right? So I'll give you a perfect example. I probably spend we'll say 20 hours a week, just for the sake of this, on my Amazon business every single week, 20 hours. I go outsource in 2 days, I box it all up, I send it one morning, right? So that allows me to, well, Mike, what else are you doing with all your other time? Well, I have other things going on. I have YouTube, we have the podcast, I have 50 101s. I also have started focusing on the influencer program the past few months. So I don't need to take time away from my Amazon business, my main money making source. But I think you have to get that first initial business to a point where you're not just in it all the time. And I don't think there's a lot of people that are out here spending 40 hours a week on their Amazon business. Maybe like 3 to 5% of all Amazon media sellers are spending 40 plus hours a week on their business. If it's even that high, it might be lower than 3%. So I think you got to get real with yourself. And listen, I'm not here to bust your balls about it. But if you really want something to work and you want to try this new idea that you're excited about, you're gonna have to give something up in the beginning to see if this thing's even going to be something you want to do.
You got to think of it like this. And if you didn't come from this, maybe it'll be a little hard to understand. If you went to full-time reselling, you were working a job before you were working to full-time reselling. Now that you're a full-time reseller, this other thing, full-time reseller is now that job you were doing and then doing Amazon on the side. It's just kind of switched a little bit. You got to think of it like that. And then once you build it up a little bit, maybe you can allocate more time. Or if it's got more money-making potential, maybe you switch it where Amazon's now number two and this new thing's now number one. Odds are very low you will be able to switch it, but that's how you kind of do it. And you got to give the other thing, the new thing, part-time hours, spare time hours, hobby time hours, until it builds up to it's worth more of your time. And I haven't said it in a while, but I'm going to say it again. It's your profit per hour. Your most profit per hour thing is either your day job, and if your day job is Amazon, well, there you go. You got to put that first because, like Mike said, the bank account goes down. That's not a good thing. You want your bank account to go up.
Yeah, and we were talking about this off air before we started recording. Just because we've seen so many people the past 2 months kind of quit their book selling journey on Amazon, eBay, whatever. And I think not focusing on one business model and reselling is a surefire way to sink your ship so quick that people don't even realize it, right? Like people tell Mike, sell on eBay. No, no, I'm never going to do it. You're never going to convince me to do it. Mike, you can make X amount of more dollars. In theory, I could, but instead, if I just go to the stores and scan more of my stuff, I'm going to make way more than I ever will on eBay, right? But that is me, who's a stubborn person who's like Mr. Krabs that wants to make super max money across every hour I work. I want to be super maxing out here. And I don't want to, sure, could I make money? 100%. If I actually started listing on eBay, instead of sending my stuff to Johnny, I could 100% make money doing it. I don't want to. I understand that's not my specialty. I don't, first off, the big thing for me is I don't want to do it, dude. It sucks to me. Like, I'd rather go in the yard and scoop crap than list on eBay. It's not exciting to me. It doesn't like I don't want to go list on eBay, right? Like I don't get excited about it. And for me, if I want to focus on something, I need to be excited about it. I think it's cool to go out and scan things and spend $1 and just throw it in a box and make money. Like that excites me. Like that type of stuff, money making, easy effort, low effort money making excites me. Scanning doesn't excite me when I'm sitting there in the store for an hour scanning everything, but the money I know I'm going to make on the back end, that excites me. And maybe it'd be different if I was selling super high value items, right? Like maybe if I had an eBay business that was comparable to my Amazon business, or maybe more than my Amazon business. All right, now all of a sudden, maybe Mike's excited to go to the storage unit because every item I list, I'm making $50 on, right? Then all of a sudden, it's shit. Like I'll do this all day long. Give me all of the $50 profit items, and I'll sit here like a robot all day long with my little boombox blasting, Cher, and we'll be good. I'll be a eBay trillionaire in no time, me and Cher, right? So like it's tough for people. And in reselling, it's so easy because a lot of the content people get pushed in reselling, it's the super high end level of reselling. These people have spaces, they have workers, they've been doing this for 5+ years, and I think that I can start an eBay business and replicate one of these guys overnight. And that is not the case.
Right. And I see a good subset, especially in the new crowd. They're doing stuff too early. They're trying to do five different things at once. And it's like, no, put in your 1,000 hours on one thing first. Become an expert at that one thing. If you're able to talk with and or above us, like Mike and I here, because you put in the time, that's what you need to do. Then go play with A, B, C, and D. And until you can get to that point, it's like, no, focus on Amazon. If you still don't know how the buy box works or even how to find it, you probably shouldn't be dinking around with, I don't know, Whatnot or Etsy or six other things because you don't know how those things work either if you can't even explain how your primary stuff functions. Um, and also follow up that outside of platform, if you can't produce a P&L or explain how profitable you were in at least percents, dollars, and cents, you need to get that aspect working. I mean, there's some people who just have a natural knack. They get money and they don't know how, they can't explain how they got money. But I'm telling you, you'll be able to make better business decisions if you understand how you made the money and where all your expenses are going, your cost, and all of that.
I think there is a profitable self-employed business for every single person on the face of the universe. All right. I think you just have to find out what that is. I think reselling is so easy to start, and it's kind of crazy the money you can make on some items you find. But scaling it is so hard. I mean, getting it to a point where you're making, $10,000 a month, it is not that easy. It seems easy in the beginning. It's almost like fool's gold. You go to the thrift store, you find two items, you sell them, and you're like, shit, I'm cooking, right? Like I'm about to be a billionaire over here. And then all of a sudden you realize, in order for me to make $5,000 a month, I need to find 20 of these items in every store, not two. And then all of a sudden you're like, you realize real quick, like, where am I going to get my stuff from? And you don't know this until you get there, but you got to stay focused on what can I do? What can I do to make the most amount of money? Where can I be? What platform do I be on? It's it's not as easy as just sitting down and just going to a thrift store, going to your local thrift store, buying stuff, listing it, selling it. It is not that easy. I don't care who spins it up that way. Sure, you might go to your local thrift store. Like I said, I've done it before. I found, digital cameras and, Pennsylvania Railroad silver things from like, the thrift store. And I made like $500. And I'm like, shit, like, guess what? I ain't ever seen another Pennsylvania Railroad silver pewter cup again, and I never will in my life, right? And that's the reality of having a reselling business is so many of our items are one-offs. We're always chasing the next thing that we can sell. It is so hard to scale unless you have relationships. And even if you have relationships, we get this all the time. Where can I get truckloads of inventory? Well, what the hell are we going to do with truckloads of inventory? Guess what? I have people on Facebook Marketplace. We could go right now, Johnny, me and you, get in the car. They sell Gaylords. Not even less than an hour away, Johnny. Me and you could be at the Gaylord Depot in under an hour. And guess who never has any intention of buying one? Me. I think
I'll pay
people
you
are
$20 an hour for me not to do any of that.
I think it would be probably my best performing YouTube ever video ever if I went and actually bought a Gaylord, right? And then had some clickbait
You know
thing like
what? I'll come record it and watch you do all of that work to pull 10 items.
I I get the allure of it because that's what everything is. That's what society is today, right? Like the reality TV shows, the storage wars, right? Like it's all about finding the gold bars. And I think that people have to realize, sure, every once in a while, like we had a guy post in a group, found $100 bill in the book the other day. I'm like, damn, I found $100 gift card, but it was to Lululemon, so it got Deb like half a t-shirt because it's so damn expensive. But like that is not the reality of it. It's a lot of work and it's a lot of you got to be consistent. And that's another thing with reselling. If you're not consistent with your one business and you want to try, you want to obviously you want to go buy a vending machine because you think nothing's passive, right? Nothing in the universe is passive, right? It's you got to go do something for that business. I don't care what it is. I if you're just going to invest, but even that, you're not guaranteed to make money even if you invest in the stock market, right? So it's like nothing is passive. And when you add something on and you think it's passive, and all of a sudden you're like, shit, I actually got to do work. And then all of a sudden, oh, there goes my Amazon business because I'm only doing influencer videos now. Well, I don't have enough products to review. So what am I going to do now? And I got to go back to Amazon, and then I half-ass that because I want to be doing the influencer business.
And you're doing videos on kazoos that make $2. Yeah.
Dude, it's all a balancing act. And even with the influencer program, I have parameters. I have standards. I think you got to have standards across the board, especially if you want to try to juggle multiple things. Like Johnny said, like not reviewing the 50 cent Ninja Turtle keychain, right? Like this is something you don't waste time on, right? But if it's like a $50, power bank here, all right, you got my interest. This is worth me sitting down and making a review of, right? You have to, if you wanted, we all could just list endlessly, right? In theory, everybody could just have an eBay store and list every single item they ever come across. If that's what you want to do and stay busy, it's there for you in reselling. And I think that's another trap a lot of people fall into is they just want to be busy for some reason. They want the opposite. Like, let me just drink my zero sugar soda and watch Unsolved Mysteries for the rest of my life. I'll be good. Like, I'm out of here. Like, sign me up today.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to what you said about the 2 item to 20 item thing. Um, yeah, and then once you figure out how to do 20 items, you're then gonna okay, now I need 40 items, and then I need 60 items, and then you have a dedicated all day route. You come home, you eat, and you die and go to bed, and then you do it again the next day. And I see people also get into this, and it's good and bad. Good, you figured out how to get 60 items a day. The bad is you're taking no time to figure out your business that you're slowly losing money because $20 model don't work anymore. You really need to be at the $30 model because time has elapsed, fees have come, and you're not aware of it because you're too busy running your route, man. Your route is the life source of your business. True, but you need to pay attention to your numbers because if they start to dip, in theory, you're making less an hour year over year over year till all of a sudden, hey, I'm making half the amount of money I am last year. What happened? Well, you didn't see 5 years ago the trend is going down and expenses are going up. So that's also something to pay attention to. And again, I'm not saying having a route is a bad thing. I'm just saying allocate I don't know, an hour a week to examine the numbers and what's going on with your business, because you can get ahead of it before it becomes a problem.
I agree. And, when I started, kind of ramping up the influencer program, it's not hard work by any stretch of the imagination, right? But you have stuff showing up every single day. You need to have a process, right? If someone sends me a keychain to review, like I'm not just going to bust out my camera for one keychain, right? I literally have a pile of things sitting here on my desk that I'm going to review today. It's like you have to be you were successful in one business, right? We're assuming that people are successful at their first business. So take the skills and the lessons you learned. They're pretty much transferable. I think people that are entrepreneurs, we say this all the time, like if we go belly up, right? Like me and Johnny get hot dog stands, we're going to be a-okay because we are business owners, entrepreneurs. We understand what it takes to have a profitable business at the end of the day. I think a lot of skills are transferable business to business, and we almost like, oh, it's a brand new business. So I just completely forgot about everything and nothing relates because now instead of doing reselling, I'm making review videos. Well, a lot of it's the same, right? Like we're out in the thrift stores, we're seeing the products. Even if you go to a whole new business model, right? How much, like Johnny said, P&L, right? What's your cost of goods sold? How much profit are you making on these items? How much time are you spending on these items? You gotta have a tactical approach. I don't want to shy people away from trying something else because, like Johnny said, people get bored. The average, span of people, people, I'm guilty of this. Like, oh man, I got to see what's going on my phone. Shit don't matter, right? But that's the world we live in. People get so bored so fast. They need something else to latch onto. That's kind of like a cool, fresh new idea. I don't think that's a terrible thing because sometimes you find something you're more passionate about, right? Maybe you go from doing eBay, Amazon, and you're the best live seller in the universe, right? You're just out here, you're like, I should have did whatnot 20 years ago. I think this is another thing people kind of sell themselves short is, well, if only I would have started this business 20 years ago. Well, no shit. You can say that about anything in life, right? So like if you do find something and you are, knocking it out of the park, don't feel like down and out on yourself like, man, if only I would have started. Yeah, of course, if me and Johnny would have been selling on Amazon in 2006 where there was no fees,
Or you're
you didn't even have
retired.
to, dude, we're done. This whole podcast
You can
doesn't even
send
exist.
everything in. There's no long-term storage fee. We did have restock or stock limitations, so there would have been that, but we would have been sitting in junk. And there was no
And
gates. No
no
gates.
gates, no nothing. Like, I mean, hindsight's 2020. I
Oh, no,
think
no fair price BS either.
eh,
I could charge whatever I want for my item.
it is good to try other things, especially if you feel like you're getting burnt out on your main side hustle income. I just challenge you to maintain that main side hustle income while you try said other thing you want to do, right? It's like Johnny said, when we were working, we were reselling on the side. And did it suck? 100%. Was it fun to us? That was probably the
Best
funnest
part of
time
the day.
that was the funnest time we had reselling is when we were brand new and I was,
Yeah.
you could go into Goodwill and get a VCR DVD combo for like $3 and it actually had the remote and you could sell it for 200 bucks. Like I wish I could go back to those days. Now I'm just like a drone out there scanning shit, but like I still realize, hey, this is how the main way I make money. And if you want to try something, go for it. Just make sure it's calculated because if you take a few missteps and you start, not paying as much attention to your main business, you are going to regret it. And you can wind up, not being a reseller anymore at all because all of a sudden you can't pay the bills. If you don't think this really happens, like I said, I mean, we got groups of hundreds of people that have come and gone, and we like to always joke about it and say, we wish we had a list of people that, we thought were going to make it, those that didn't make it, right? Like I think people would be astonished if they actually heard the stories of people that started to be successful reselling. And then for whatever reason, like if we could just sit down and get their reasons, like I think that would be such a great episode, but no one's ever going to come here and say, hey, here's why I failed, because you didn't really fail. It just wasn't successful. You probably moved on to something else. But I think those stories would be so eye-opening just for your average person to hear, hey, this person was doing $1,000 a month. They were doing this part-time. And here's the mistakes now that it's done, that they went back and realized if I wouldn't have did this, then I would have been A-okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And Here's a fun thing to do. This is a 2.0 lesson. So for your people in the game and have been doing it, you're doing the 10 to 20,000 or more a month. This is for you. I want you to look at I don't care if it's Amazon or eBay, your units sold by how much you made, and then I want you to subtract your overhead, your rent, any subscriptions, if you got employees, if you bought equipment, and figure out all the fees associated with that. Figure out your actual per unit that you send in, how much you actually clear, because it ain't on what's just on Amazon. That's not true. It gives you the most practicality fees, and we didn't even include cost of goods. Throw that number in there too. All fees. How much does it really cost you to send in a single unit? If it's on eBay, same thing. How many units did you sell? And then take all those numbers and like, how much does it cost me to list an item on eBay? And you will be dumbfounded by, oh, okay. And then maybe you make a little bit of business adjustments based off this fact-finding expedition that you just did, and you'll be better for it.
Yeah, you're right. I think it's super important to understand your real profitability at the end of the day, like after the fees, after the promoted listing fees, after the shipping costs. There's so many, it's like we just turn a blind
Those nickels add up,
yeah.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's like we don't care. So we just turn a blind eye to it,
Oh, I
whatever.
got money coming in the bank account. That's great. But instead of making $2, you can be making four if you cut out some of the fat. Because I think we all get into it all makes money, right? Which is true, but there's harder money and there's easier money. And your time isn't free. It's not.
I get stuff for free to review, and I still have like better standards than like 95% of eBay sellers, Johnny. Like if people were getting something for free for like 10 or 15 bucks, they're like, yeah, I'm selling it on eBay. And I'm like, it's got to be at least $30 for me to list it on eBay. And I'm not even I'm using a listing software. I'm not even like doing photos, but like I have such a high standard because I know, right? I don't think people factor in like you got to go to the post office.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear,
Or
oh,
put it
get a
out on the front
pickup.
porch.
Get
Yeah.
a pickup. Get a pickup. Yeah, and then they don't show up, and then they don't show up again, or it rains. Like
How much of your time you spent checking to see if your stuff got actually sent in? If it doesn't, you got to get your ass up there.
that's what I'm saying. I think overall it's good to try different things. It's just a cautionary tale. This whole episode is a cautionary tale that we have seen probably hundreds of people go from being successful reselling, focus on one business model, to trying to switch it up just because they were bored or they seen somebody else do it. And that's usually the thing. You get pushed this video from somebody who says they're making trillions of dollars and they're selling books on, whatnot, and you can be rich on whatnot. And I don't care that I always pick on whatnot because I think selling books on whatnot's stupid. This is your money making right here. Boom, let's focus on this. If you want to do whatnot, or if you want to do eBay or Pango or Abe, that's fine, but you cannot take away from your main business. I never decided when I was going to start taking another business seriously that I'm going to take away from Amazon. That would just be stupid of me, right? Like even though I have money in the bank, why would I have the business refined to a point where it's not hard. It's not hard. I go out, I scan, it goes in a box, I throw a label on it, I'm done. I wash my hands of literally that's why I enjoy Amazon. That's why I even got into Amazon, is because it's almost a hands-free business besides you going out and sourcing 2 days a week and slapping a stupid label on it. You just wash your hands of it. But the caveat is, like Johnny said, you got to know your damn numbers because Amazon will sink your ship so damn fast with fees and with these unexpected storage costs, and all of a sudden you think this business model doesn't work. Here I am sitting for 5+ years making money on Amazon. So the business model does work. Your business model doesn't work. That's the problem.
Right. And yeah, I mean, you just really have to analyze and overanalyze. And here's another thing. A lot of people put their business time and hours with research, right? And to me, that's not your business hours. Your business hours is the physicality of you going out and you coming back and you shipping it out. The research time, that's extra credit. Good for you. But you got to realize the amount of hours you put in your business. And I'm not saying research and theorizing is not important. It is, but to a lesser degree, your core business comes first. And if you're doing 6 or 7 other little side hustles and you got to put research time into that, what time's left for these little side businesses and what time is left for your core business? How much hours are you really putting into your core business? And if you say, I don't have a core business, I'm a conglomerate. I have 10 businesses. It's all one business under one roof, me. Well, good luck, sir, ma'am.
It sounds good on paper. It really does, right? To have all these different money making opportunities, but it's never a fair balance across the board. Whether it's your time or whether it's the money coming in from your 10 said businesses, it's never like, all right, I got 10 businesses, so 10% of my money comes from each one and 10% of my time goes to each one. It ain't never working out like that. And usually, if you actually go and take a look at it, you'll quickly realize usually the one you spend the most time is the one that's making you the least amount of money. But we don't want to have that conversation because we've been selling on Amazon and on eBay for 25 years, and we don't care what anybody else says. And this is all I know. And I'm so scared to actually sit down and look at my business's profitability and say, I need to make a change. I'll be the first person to tell you, if I'm not making no damn money on Amazon, I am gone. See you later. Bye. I am not dragging this along. I could care less about YouTube and anything else. If my lights aren't on, then guess what? I couldn't care about recording a YouTube video. I think a lot of people are just float on through. I guess you just barely make ends meet. Hell, a lot of people probably lose money and they just don't care because you can still have your reselling business. You can still pay Amazon storage fees. You can still keep all your shit listed in your garage or whatever it may be. Let's start making some money here. And if you want to pivot to a different business, a-okay, but let's keep this one that's making us money. First, we got to actually understand it's making us money. And then we can say, well, I got an extra 10 hours a week. What do I want to do with that? What is something I'm passionate about that I want to try? Don't go off what these other people are showing you because none of it's true. Go off, do something you want to do. Do something you're passionate about. We've been talking about this a lot last year was finding a way to monetize something you're really passionate about, right? Like I'm not passionate about books. I couldn't give a shit about them. I just like the money that comes from them. So let me find something I'm passionate about doing, something that's going to be basically easy to do, right? I'm not saying I'm like the QVC guy, but I mean, I enjoy talking, doing reviews on items, talking about items and making money to do it. I mean, it's kind of stupid money to make, but I just see the opportunity. And that's why I kind of landed on the influencer program. And I've never taken it seriously. I've had my influencer account for years. I've never taken it seriously until, basically November of 2025. And I've already seen the results. And it's like, I haven't let Amazon go by the wayside. Like a 5 boxes going out this week, a couple hundred units. It still has to exist, Johnny. And maybe someday, if I do get the influencer program to a point where I'm making more than Amazon, maybe I do cut a little bit of time back out of
maybe 5 boxes becomes 3. Yeah.
Even then though, it's like so stupid easy money. Amazon, it's like if you really know what you're doing on Amazon, it's a stupid
or here, get a strapping young lad, pay him a handsome wage, and he does all of your Amazon.
I know, man. Give me your final thoughts before we wrap this up.
My final thoughts is your time is precious. Utilize it to make the most money. And that may not mean other businesses for a while. Not forever, but for a while. And I get it. Sometimes it's boring. Making money can be very boring. I get it. But at least you're making money. Continue doing that and continue to make more money. Improve your business and save these side projects as it's simply that. They are hobbies until they are proven otherwise. Your core business is first, always.
I 100% agree. We'll talk to y'all in next week's episode.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Resellers Mindset Podcast. Today's full episode and all previous episodes are available to all YouTube members, along with the weekly Zoom call and private Discord. Head on over to youtube.com/theusebookguy and consider joining for as little as $2.99 a month.